Chapter 57 Return. Heinrich, Heisenberg, and Dr. Marlberg stood staring as the steam cleared from around the recently returned Die Glocke. The only difference in its appearance was that the porthole built into the side of the vessel was almost all the way down. "Why is the porthole down?" shouted Dr. Marlberg. "Do they not know this is a scientific experiment, not a joy ride?" Heinrich was already moving quickly towards Die Glocke, Heisenberg, matching his pace, as soon as he had realized Heinrich had reacted. "Don't worry, Dr. Marlberg, I will get to the bottom of it. There must be a logical explanation." Arriving at Die Glocke, it was apparent that a logical reason may not be forthcoming. The suited test pilot was standing full frame in the window, holding what looked like a German Navy captain's cap. "What are you doing?" asked Heinrich, pushing a set of wheeled steps up to Die Glocke. The door swung open and the test pilot stepped out onto the steps, still holding Captain Kopf's cap. "I have a souvenir," he said proudly, holding it up for all to see. In the control room, Dr. Marlberg was less than pleased. Yet another experiment had been ruined by some fool breaking protocol. Pressing the public broadcast system, he ordered, "Ready the reactor. I want the experiment repeated as soon as is possible." "So what is your plan?" asked Graham. Paul thought about his response before replying. They had to assume that the pattern of usage of whatever the solarium device producing the effects Graham and Bouncer were being affected by was neither regular nor predictable. On that basis, they could not simply wait around waiting for it to happen again. It could be minutes, days, or even weeks. Whatever sensors they were to use had to be autonomous. "You said this power source produces magnetic fields that, when strong enough, can affect fundamental physics?" "Yes, as far as we know, that is how Sepulka designed the TDD to function. What they didn't know was that under certain circumstances those fields create tears. So if we were to place magnetic sensors a reasonable distance apart, we should be able to triangulate any future bursts of energy." While Graham considered the plan, his nanotech automatically did the calculations necessary to estimate a probability of success. "Yes, if we can place the sensors at least 25 miles apart, it would appear there is sufficient resolution available to triangulate a location." Paul thought the response through before replying. "We could adapt seismographs to record magnetic functions rather than tectonics. Then we can leave the devices and review the paper records every couple of days. To that end, we should not miss an event. We can use your and Bouncer's reaction to verify the timing of events in order to reject any false positives." By the end of the day, the two devices were built and tested. Graham created a small magnetic event which positively triggered the device. "Et voila," smiled Dirac. "Two sensors ready to go. Graham, if you can take one that way at least 12 miles, and record the exact distance, Bouncer if you can do the same, but that way, we then just have to wait." Dirac smiled and turned to the hob. "When you get back, we can have a cup of tea and you can update me on this nanotech?" Half an hour later, both Graham and Bouncer were back with accurate mappings of their sensor locations. They faced each other and smiled. They were finally making headway. They just had to wait. Dirac had the mugs waiting when they walked into the kitchen. "Biscuit?"